As part of the preliminary cockpit preparation, you will check that the flap position agrees with the lever position, the speed brake lever is in the retracted position. Warning: if a flight control surface position does not agree with the lever position, check with the maintenance crew before applying hydraulic power. During the walk-around, you should ensure that all the flight control surfaces are undamaged and free of any contamination, e.g. snow or ice. The same check is performed on each side of the aircraft. During cockpit preparation, the only check associated with the flight controls is to ensure that all flight control computers' push buttons are in the lights out configuration. Notice that before engine start, the bank angle protection indicators are displayed in amber on the PFD. The side sticks are inoperative because there is no hydraulic power. Moving the side sticks will not affect the control surfaces. Before pushback, for your own comfort, it may be necessary to adjust the position of the seats and the armrests to easily handle the side stick. This is done by using the seat electrical controls and the armrest control knob. In the same way, it may be necessary to adjust the position of the rudder pedals. This is done using the rudder pedal adjuster. After engine start, the ground spoilers are armed by pulling the lever up. A white band appearing around the base of the speed brake lever and the green memo "Ground Spoilers Armed" on the engine warning display indicate that the spoilers are now armed. Next, the rudder trim is zeroed by pushing the reset push button. The trim is now reset to 0. This is checked on the rudder trim panel. It can also be seen on the ECAM flight control page via a blue line displayed below the rudder scale. Note: the rudder trim rotary switch is isolated during flight with the autopilot engaged. The takeoff memo normally appears during taxiing. For training purposes, we have displayed it now. The flaps should be set to their takeoff position, 1 plus F, 2 or 3. While the flaps are deploying, we will be looking at their indications on the engine warning display. To set the flaps, you need to lift up the lower part of the flap lever and then position it to the appropriate setting. Here, as an example, we will select flap 3. As soon as a flap selection is made, blue markers appear on the engine warning display to show the selected flap and slat positions. A blue number shows which flap position has been selected, here 3. The word flap appears in blue. Also, as soon as a flap selection is made, the current slat position green markers move, followed by the flap. The white labels S and F appear. When the flaps and slats have reached their selected positions, all position indications turn from blue to green. The word flap changes from blue to white. The flaps takeoff memo on the engine warning display turns to green. Takeoff trim is set manually using the trim wheels. The pitch trim values are indicated on the scales beside the trim wheels. The takeoff trim has to be in the green range. The pitch trim position set may be seen on the ECAM flight control page during the flight control check when taxiing if required. The after start sequence for flight controls is complete. When the flaps are extended, the ailerons are dropped by about 5 degrees in order to increase lift. The aileron indexers are now pointing to a small white square, which represents the new neutral position. A flight control check is completed at a convenient stage while taxiing, as on a conventional aircraft. On the PFD, the combined side stick deflection indicator is displayed on the ground as a white cross. The cross only indicates side stick deflections and does not indicate control surface position. The green bank angle protection indicators have also appeared, indicating normal law, as the aircraft is hydraulically powered. The side sticks become operable after first engine start, as soon as hydraulic power is available. On ground, the control surfaces respond in direct relationship to movements of the side sticks. This is the ground mode. As it is not possible to see the flight control surfaces from the cockpit, the reaction to side stick or rudder pedal movement is monitored on the ECAM flight control page. The page is automatically called when either of the side sticks or either of the rudder pedals are moved. We will start the flight control check with the elevators by moving the side stick to its full back position. The pilot non-flying checks on the ECAM page that the elevators have moved to their full up position. Move the side stick fully forward. The elevators have now moved to their full down deflection. Move the side stick back to neutral. With the side stick neutral, ensure that the elevators have returned to the neutral position. The flight controls are working in pitch. We will continue by checking the roll control. You can see on the ECAM that the left aileron has moved fully up, the right aileron has moved fully down. The roll spoilers on the left wing have extended. Now you can see that the left aileron is fully down, the right aileron is fully up, the right roll spoilers are extended. With the side stick neutral, ensure that the ailerons return to the neutral position and the spoilers are back in their stowed position. Now we will check the rudder. Before testing the rudder pedals, you need to press and hold the rudder pedals disconnected button on the nose wheel steering handle to prevent any unwanted steering inputs. Now the rudder pedal movements will have no effect on the nose wheel steering. The right rudder pedal should now be pushed. The rudder has moved to its full right deflection, so you should now push the left rudder pedal. The rudder has moved to its full left deflection, so the pedals should be returned to their neutral position. The rudder has returned to the neutral position, so the pedal disconnect button should be released. The pilot non-flying would now check his side stick for full movement and correct control response. Because the rudder pedals are mechanically linked, it is unnecessary to recheck them. The flight control check is now complete. When the autopilot is engaged, the side sticks are locked in their neutral position, and the rudder pedals remain stationary. Neither will move regardless of any autopilot input. One of the first actions for the crew after gear retraction is to disarm the ground spoilers. This is achieved by pushing the speed brake lever down. The white band at the base of the speed brake lever is no longer visible, and the ground spoiler armed message has disappeared from the engine warning display. You are above acceleration altitude with the airspeed increasing. At or above F speed, minimum speed for flap retraction, the flaps can be retracted directly to flap 1. Flap 1 is now set. Notice both slats and flaps are extended to the first position. This is 1 plus F configuration. The airspeed is increasing through S speed, minimum speed for slat retraction. Flap 0 would be normally selected at this stage. To demonstrate automatic flap retraction, we will delay this action. As the speed approaches VFE at flap 1 plus F, the flaps will automatically retract fully when the airspeed reaches 210 knots. Notice the slats remain deployed in their first position. This is configuration 1. There is no automatic retraction of the slats. Flap 0 is now set, which can be confirmed on the engine warning display. Notice that the slat flap indications have been simplified. The after takeoff actions are now complete. We will go directly to the descent phase. During descent, the speed brake may be used to increase the rate of descent to correct the flight profile from above or to slow down. During the initial approach phase, speed brakes may be used to increase the rate of deceleration. To use the speed brakes, you must first press down on the speed brake lever, which is spring-loaded into the retracted position. The speed brake lever can now be moved rearwards to any position, depending on the amount of drag required. With the autopilot engaged, the maximum speed brake deflection available is approximately half, even with the speed brake lever moved fully back. The speed brake retraction rate is reduced when flying at high speed. For training purposes, we have called the ECAM wheel page for you to remind you of the indications. The indications are also shown on the ECAM flight control page. We are back to normal display. With some power on at least one engine, the speed brake message will flash amber. The spoiler retraction can be confirmed on the engine warning display by the disappearance of the speed brake memo message. We have activated the approach for you. The airspeed decreases below the maximum speed for flap extension, or VFE, shown on the speed tape by amber dashes. Notice that an airborne selection from flap 0 to flap 1 deploys the slats only. You cannot select flap 1 plus F from flap 0 in the air. The speed has now decelerated to below VFE for flap 2. Flap 2 is set. At this point, before flap 3 is selected, we have lowered the landing gear for you. Arm the spoilers. The ground spoilers are armed, which can be confirmed on the engine warning display. Notice that as the landing gear is down, and as we are below 1500 feet AGL, the landing memo has appeared. Below VFE, flap 3 can now be selected. Flap 3 is set. Although flap 3 may be used for landing, the normal configuration is flap full. Flap full is set, and the speed is constant at V approach, the final approach speed. You can check on the landing memo that the aircraft is now fully configured for landing. In normal law, passing 50 feet, the system memorizes the aircraft attitude. It progressively reduces this attitude. Therefore, the pilots have to perform a gentle flare, as for a conventional aircraft. At touchdown, with the main landing gear compressed, the ground spoilers deploy automatically and operate as lift dumpers, provided the thrust levers are at idle or reverse. Spoiler extension can be monitored by the pilot non-flying on the ECAM wheel page. Note, if only one main landing gear leg is compressed, the ground spoilers will extend partially, thereby decreasing the lift and compressing both main landing gear legs. Ground spoilers will then deploy fully. If a go-around is performed, the ground spoilers will automatically retract when the power is applied. As part of the after landing phase, the ground spoilers should be disarmed. The flaps should now be retracted. This concludes the normal operation of flight controls.